Okay, I have Cosmic Cloud here, and they have just re-released this. And this is a chopstick. Vicky taught me this trick. Just all the way in, all the way down. See? And it like unsticks it from the plastic. This is a very sticky set, a very melty set that I wouldn't mix with. If it was just like one strip, it would be okay, but like there's multiple strips that are come on. There's multiple strips that are melty, see? So yeah. Anyway, I think I might see. Usually when they're melty like that, you can stretch them. So the re-release, this was just re-released like today, I think. Sometimes the re-releases are different than the original. And I felt like when she showed us that it like had some kind of, I'm going to double this. So I felt like it had some kind of duochrome effect. And I don't feel like the original one, this is one of the original ones from 2018. I don't feel like the original one does have that. For whatever that's worth. Anyway, I'm doing this because for lipedema awareness, the color for lipedema is purple. And I have lipedema, not to be confused with lymphedema, although I do have a mild amount of that on one ankle if I eat too much salt or I eat oils that are like really crappy oils. Like if I go out to eat somewhere, sometimes I'll gain water weight. And I never had that problem before. It's just been in like the last 2 or 3 years that I've had that happen. Have that happening, I guess I should say. I should use this one because it's more melty. These are going on beautifully. I bought a whole bunch of hard to find bundles from someone, and they sent me a whole bunch of sets that were like this. Some of them I won't ever wear because I don't like those. I don't like that particular set, but some of them, like this one, is really pretty, and I was like, yes, this is one of my favorite sets. But I think she just buys in bulk, and sometimes she gets sets that are melty, so she'll send them out with larger orders. And I had a fairly expensive order because I bought some rather expensive Halloween set bundles. But I've always wanted to wear this by itself, and I haven't. I've only worn it in mixes, and it's really pretty. Go all the way up there. I feel like it looks kind of metallic-y. Even though it's not, it's like a really fine glitter. I don't know if you can see the, it has like blue and maybe some orange in it. And they said that this matched Cosmic, or not, this is Cosmic Club. They said that this matched the other set that was released with it. I can't remember what it's called right now. Dropping Gimmies In. And I really feel like that matches New York Minute better. I feel like it's more I did not do a good job with that. Dang it. How did I manage not to get it over so much? That's a bummer. I don't know if this one would crack in a day or two, but I just feel like it might, so that's why I'm doubling it. Plus, it was re-released, although I feel like the re-releases are not as good sometimes, especially when they're like, it's not quite the same color. Well, is it really a re-release then, or is it just like a copycat type? Because they said that the first two re-releases that they did this year were a lot more sheer than they were before for some reason. Like Fa La La and I don't remember the other one. Casa, I think. Yeah, I think it was Casa. Bateo or something, or Batello. Anyway, back to Lipedema. I talked about this last year. I found out that I had this not last fall, but the fall before. And it is a connective tissue disorder. If you Google it, sometimes you'll find it say a connective tissue disorder and some say it's a fat disorder. I watched a video where they took some of this substance that they call lipedema out of a person's leg, and it does not look like fat. It looks like rubber. It's like a white or an ivory rubber type substance. So I personally don't feel like that is a fat substance. So, in my opinion. So see how it's not coming off? You have to be really careful or it might rip because it's melty like that. I am trying to decide. I think I'm going to put the 4 strip on instead of another 3 strip. To make sure I get full coverage. I watched a video and I read a whole bunch about the new chrome sets that are coming out. Like, we're finally getting chromes. And they said that they were more difficult to apply. Like, they were more liable to wrinkle and stuff like that. And I think it just comes down to, like, how patient you are, right? And also making sure that you're not cold. I haven't played with them yet. I'm getting one. So, but I think I'm keeping it for myself. I don't think I'm going to mix with it. I might. I don't know. We'll see. That's so annoying to me. It has those little tabs right there. But I think it comes down to, like, how patient you are, honestly, putting it on. Like, I feel like that looks bad. At the cuticle where it's melty. I should have cut that off before I applied. So these are my problem fingers because they curve both directions. So I just have to be more patient. Sorry, I get distracted, obviously, thinking about putting these on. So lipedema is a connective tissue disorder, and it is somewhat correlated with, like, hypermobility. So if you have lipedema, you could also have hypermobility, and I do have hypermobility, which just means, like, I'm more flexible than I should be. And sometimes it doesn't cause problems, but it does make it easier for you to hurt yourself, like when you're lifting weights or something like that. So, for whatever that's worth, I'm going to stretch this other one to fit on one of my middle fingers. And I just totally dropped that on the floor. Look at how pliable these are. I feel like that's kind of amazing because I've had sets that are new that are not this easy to work with. awesome. Oh, it looks like I have it shipped there. Well, never mind. It wasn't a very good choice. I try to get it as close as possible because I will see the lip and that will make me unhappy. Oh well. So I do have a partial of this out in my freezer stash, but the goal is to just use this melty set. I probably should have used my freezer stash set, but I didn't want to. I mean, it could be dry. It's not one of mine. It's a partial I bought from somebody. And I mean, 90% of the time they're fine, but ooh, I ripped that. I hope I can't see that after I... Do you see the rip? I don't think that's long enough, see? It's okay. I wish we had two of those instead of this weird strip. Or 4 of them, I guess I should say. Gosh darn it. It's really annoying. These do feel a little bit thinner than... Oh, seriously? Good Lord. And this is why I'm not talking about lipedema. But anyway, my fat hurts because it's not actually fat. I'm sure there's some fat there, but it's... Please don't be difficult. When it gets pushed on, or when I get like my blood pressure done, I think I'm just gonna have to redo this whole nail. Gosh damn it. Oh, I wonder if you guys can even hear me because my headphones with my stupid speakers all the way over here. Alright, sorry about that. Yeah, we're just gonna redo this nail, it's fine. So anyway, I have like bumps in my fat, and it kind of looks weird, kind of like cellulite or like the top of a mattress in places. And it's painful. And sometimes it just hurts even when it's not being touched. It just hurts for like no reason. But my legs are, and always have been, larger than, well, my legs haven't always been. My arms have always been larger than you would expect them to be for my body size. Where this is dry now. I've never been able to have toned arms. They've always been large ever since puberty. It didn't matter what I did. I lifted weights for years, and I never ever had toned arms. They were always large, and they always looked bigger than they should. I had muscle tone, like I had like strength, but I never had, my arms always looked like they belonged on a fat person. Whether the rest of me was fat or not. See how thin my hands are? You wouldn't guess that I have like all of that for my upper arms. And that, when I push like that, that's uncomfortable. But anyway, I've always had, and lipedema gets activated with a few different things. So like puberty, pregnancy, and menopause, which I'm hoping I don't get more of a problem when I have that happen. But a few years ago, my hormones were like completely out of control. And I noticed my legs, I was having a hard time with definition in my legs. And I've never really had that problem. And I wasn't exercising like I used to. Like I wasn't like lifting weights as much as I used to, but still, like I've never had problems with that. And when I finally got my hormones under control, for whatever reason, I gained like 30 pounds in 2 years. It was really weird. And like nothing I did seemed to like help with that weight gain. So my doctor did some evaluations and then she sent me to a specialist for lipedema, and he was like, yeah, you have lipedema in your arms and in your legs. He's like, I don't think you have it in your stomach, but I think he was wrong. It's very rare to have it in your stomach, but my fat in my stomach hurts when it's pushed on. So it feels like every other part of my body. Wait, did I already put, which one did I put 2 on? I think I put 2 on this one already. Okay. I think that's too short. I think I put 2 on this one, right? You guys, why aren't you helping me? I think I did. Yeah, I did. I am apparently not capable of talking and doing this at the same time. So he wasn't like super helpful. He was like, you have too much inflammation and too much extra weight that's not lipedema for me to do surgery and take this out of you. Not that it really matters, because my insurance was like, we're not paying for nothing. And he suggested that I try something like Zipbound, which my insurance was like, you're hilarious. We're not going to pay for that. They wouldn't even pay for like inexpensive weight loss medication. And it's like, oh, okay, so like I'm overweight. Eventually, most people that are overweight eventually have issues with like heart disease and diabetes and, you know, all these things that are super expensive. Right? But I think it's like a racket. I think because my insurance is either a subsidiary of or they own CVS. And so they're either a subsidiary of CVS, which means they're owned by CVS, or they own CVS. Which CVS is not just that's not just a pharmacy, right? It's also a subsidiary of a pharmaceutical company. So I think that the pharmaceutical companies make all this money and the insurance companies say, oh no, we're not going to pay for whatever because they want you to have these, you know, terrible diseases because then they make all this money, right? Because even though you're paying a fraction of the cost, let's say the drug costs 10 cents to make, right? Well, that's great that it costs 10 cents to make. They're charging $150 for it. The insurance is like, well, your copay is $35. So then the insurance pays the drug company that they have a This is all conjecture, right? Like I'm pulling this out of my butt. But then the insurance pays the drug company that they're quote unquote owned by. So like, how does that work? You know, $200. Well, they're not really paying them because they're owned by them. So really the only person paying anything is you, which is $35 for a medication that costs 10 cents to make, right? Like, seriously? That's, yeah, whatever. That's my opinion. That I think that that's probably close to what's happening. It's too short. Okay. And this was already too short, so I have to use one of these, which is fine, I guess. So anyway, just for whatever it's worth. So conservative treatment for lipedema is wear compression, get manual lymphatic drainage, which doesn't actually do anything unless you also have water retention, or unless it's so bad that your lymphatic has ceased to function correctly because your lipedema pushes on your lymphatic system. So there's that too, I guess. Okay, well, this one didn't work. Maybe. Put it back on there. I wonder if I can... So I usually don't do that because it looks crappy. But I was curious because this is a really old set, if it would look okay. And not tear and look like, you know, SHIT. It definitely doesn't look as bad, but it still doesn't look great. This has a black back, and I think that doesn't help. Where was I at in my thought process here? Compression. Oh, swimming. Vibration plates. And I have a vibration plate, and I tried 85 different kinds of compression. Let's see what else. Go in there. Come on. The vibration plate does seem to help with mild pain management. So like it helps a tiny bit with pain. Swimming helps quite a bit. I don't feel like my legs hurt as much when I go swim. And I don't mean like hurting when they get pushed on. I mean hurting like just in general for no apparent reason whatsoever. They don't just ache. When I don't go swimming for a long time or like for over a week, or I don't do like my vibration plate or trampoline. Like if I just did nothing for like a week, my legs would just kind of ache. But when I do those things consistently, then they don't ache. And compression does not love me, or maybe I don't love compression. I don't know. Physical therapy told me we'll just try like pregnancy compression. So part of the problem is like if it fits on my legs, it's way too tight on my stomach. And it's uncomfortable on my stomach. And the pregnancy doesn't usually come in compression. Well, it does, but I'm not going to spend $150 on something that I hate to wear. I feel like that just adds insult to injury. Because they do have compression leggings for pregnancy. They look uncomfortable to me. I don't know. I didn't try them because they were $150. I don't want to spend $150 on compression leggings. The ones that I have right now are $10, but they're not. There's not enough compression at my ankle. It's fairly loose at my ankle. Which one of these is longer? I feel like they're relatively the same. Maybe? Oh, this one's slightly longer. Even going down a size, I feel like it's still like very loose for whatever reason around my ankle. But my ankles are not where any of this is, right? Like they're thin. Like you can see my ankle bones and everything on both sides. Ugh, seriously? This is not a good situation, guys. This isn't going to be long enough. See, I ripped it. Right there. I hope you can't see that when I'm done. I didn't get it over quite far enough here either. I had an entire full pack. This should not have been an issue. Isn't it pretty though? It's kind of darker than I was expecting it to be. Somehow. Okay. I still have to double my thumbs, but I wanted to put this on. Oh, this feels stiff. I don't know what I'm going to do with the heart, but especially since it's a 4 and I would have to stretch it all to heck. Goodness, look at that. So anyway, things can cause inflammation in the body, right? Like sugar. And they can cause inflammation in anyone's body, but when I eat it and have inflammation from stress or sugar or something else that my body's just like, I don't like that. Then I have a problem with lipedema, with swelling, with, just like if you were to fall and break a bone, your body will swell around it to protect it. My body apparently does that. But not necessarily with like fluid, it does it with some other substance. And the only way to get rid of the lipedema is like, I've heard some people can use keto to get rid of it. Or surgery, where they just suck it out, like liposuction. But it has to be a special, specific kind, or it doesn't work and it doesn't get it all out or something like that. I'm not really sure I understood. You can't just go have liposuction done. It has to be a doctor that works with lipedema and knows what they're doing. And there are very, very few doctors that do that. There's very few doctors. If I lived in Germany or Spain, I would have had this taken care of quite a while ago. Is this... I feel like it's whatever, upside down kind of anyway. I feel like this is still... I think it's because it's an overlay, but it just feels stiff. Let's try that. So I was going to see if this is wide enough to put, but it's not. So look, I have two left. You just get temperamental with me. I don't want any of your wrinkles. Something interesting that I did not know until I had a physical therapy evaluation to find out how much my lipedema was affecting me. Apparently, I could not close my eyes and stand on one foot. And I always thought I had fairly good balance. I've done yoga for years. I did stop for a while because my shoulder was messed up. I need to get back into it, though, because that's, I think, part of the reason why I gained weight was because I stopped doing yoga. I think yoga helps your lymphatic system. Don't ask me how or why, but it just does. I think it may be some of the breathing that you do when you do yoga. If you're doing it right and you're being mindful about it, you should be focusing on your breath when you do it. Yoga is more of like a meditation practice than actual like exercise, but it is also exercise. I got this on my cuticle. I'm not sure if I can. I'm hitting my head on my camera. I have a little plastic. Oh, there we go. This seems to have wrinkled right there. I don't like the, do you see that thing sticking out right there? But you can kind of tuck this under your cuticle. So that you can push it down. If you need to. It's not hot. Like, what's going on? I have it on. Anyway, if you see those people walking around and they have like huge arms and the rest of them looks normal, or they have huge arms and legs and the rest of them looks normal, or if they have like a normal average to thin top and then their hips and their legs are massive and they look like they have two different bodies, that's lipedema. And if this sounds like you should definitely Google it. If you're like, that's weird, or that sounds oddly familiar, because this is not something that a lot of doctors know about. It's not like a common diagnosis, even though I read that like 1 in 4 women probably have it, which is, I mean, that's 25% of the population. My doctor told me that when she was in school to learning to be a naturopath, that when she took her course on like obesity and fat and stuff like that, that they learned it was like 5 to 6% or something like that. But when they did this test or survey or study or something that they did in the class, that they learned it was much higher than that. So I've heard like 1 in 6, I've heard 1 in 4, I've heard like as low as like 5%, but still 5% of, a billion people is a lot of people, right? You can't hardly see that. Oh well. I guess I didn't realize it was that dark. I should have used a lighter color maybe. Gosh, I hope that goes away when I do top coat. June is also, or maybe that was May. I want to say mental health awareness, but maybe that was May. But I thought it was June. I don't know. I feel like there's like so many different things for each month. I can't keep track. Oh, look at that. My fan came on. Okay. I will talk to you guys later. Hopefully I'll have a mix to wear next time.